for that feedback. Look, I even wrote the Book of Us. When you commented that on the thing, I was like, that is awesome. Thank you for that validation. That makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I want to keep going. Yeah. So is there any... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, if you, are you set up, not vertical, but landscape on your phone?
No, should I?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, a whole new world. Oh my God. And I love your background. I feel like you are like a wise warlock in his library, and I'm able to but they have this technology. That's cool.
I need to stop.
Yes. Maybe even a robe, depending on how into it you want to get. So
cool.
Well,
go ahead.
I noticed that especially on the lives, you have a way with words, right? It's almost like you would write beautiful poetry, I feel, or write songs well. And also, when I was explaining what I was trying so hard to explain, MB, it's counting down. Oh, we're recording. Okay, awesome. So MB, I was trying to explain what I was experiencing with the layers. Her gift had like these layers. You said that sounds like quantum physics, and I was like, that is. Like, that really impressed me because you have this aspect of spirituality, scientific mind, and then also of the logic, basic logic. And it's cool to meet someone who's connected to three. So tell me more. Tell me more about yourself, Michael.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something I want to dive into in this conversation as well.
Please.
Just because it's such an exciting topic,
It is. It makes my brain like tingle,
Yeah. So one thing I want to get before we kind of get started, I wrote down kind of basically a loose agenda.
Awesome. You're just like me.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so let's hear what's on your list.
So I have a question about your downloads.
Okay, excellent.
And things like that. A talk about energy exchange.
Okay.
That being like, I think one of the first times I talked to you on live, somebody came in saying something about like Hail Satan or something like that, and without skipping a beat, you're like, oh yeah, cool. Let's. My friend was a
Satanist, yeah.
Satanist and things like that, and then they went from a disruptive energy to engaging.
Yes. I love when that happens.
I was very impressed with that.
Wow, thank you for acknowledging that.
Let's see what else. I want to talk about surrounding yourself with the people who resonate with you and who you resonate with. Because that seems to be, and I may be wrong, but it seems to be kind of a newer thing.
Wow, yes, very observant.
With both of us, really.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Can't wait to hear that about you.
Let's see. I want to talk about how we cope with the difficulties in our lives, and how I want to dive in a little bit about what happened earlier last month, I think it was, when you said somebody was kind of using some black magic or something like that against you.
Great, yes.
And I want to talk with you a little bit about that.
Awesome. Yeah, my first experience with it coming and it being great topics.
And then the last thing I wanted to get into was intellectual struggles. How we take these things that you and I see in our minds,
right?
The things that we understand, and illustrate them to those who are listening.
Oh, beautiful. That's connecting two kinds. It's like smelling colors, something like that. Like
Right.
how you already know. I don't have to explain it. Oh, we're gonna have great conversations, Michael.
Right.
What is your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, no wonder.
Is that
Like, well, I haven't had a very engaging conversation in a very long time, and it typically usually only happens with Aquarians who want to like, oh, this is great. That's great. Okay.
Go ahead.
We both went and crossed our hands at the same time. I don't know if you realize that, but we are definitely in sync. We are in a great vibration, and we are definitely destined to meet, because I believe that the conversations that we are going to have, especially with the minds like ours and souls like ours and journeys like ours, when we come together and we express it, it's going to have such a massive ripple effect on those who don't talk about this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you for even, these are fire. These are really good topics. I don't even want to share mine because this was like, wow, awesome. The more I learn about you, the more questions I'll have, and the more that will spread this love and knowledge to humanity. So thank you.
I thrive on these types of conversations.
Me too. Me too.
I can see that, and that's what's so exciting about doing something like this. I've never done it, so.
Oh, really? I've never done it like this, but like podcasts I did with my dad, and then I tried to do it with my friend, but it wasn't flowing because the topics were not interesting me. Like, I didn't have any juice to go off of, but like with this, it's like when you bounce ideas off each other and it becomes a flow and it's natural.
Yeah.
So awesome, awesome. Well, I'm so honored to be the first one for you to do this with.
Yeah. I like the idea of because you tend to be able to riff from within.
What do you mean by that, riff?
When you're doing a reading or something like that, and you're following the cards, you're getting the downloads.
Okay.
You're flowing. You're not necessarily paying attention to the comments, but like I said last night, you may not read them, but you definitely get the message.
Really?
And you're just going up one thing after another. This is how this connects to this, and blah blah blah. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Yes.
I thrive more on the exchange, the back and forth, the quality, the other person's conversational skills, I guess.
I see. So when you engage in conversation with another person, do you go into a state of breaking down their minds or why they think that way, or like just trying to like see like what happens when you engage in conversation with others that are not maybe talking about things like this? Me and my brother, he's an Aquarius too. We're working on small talk a lot because it's hard for us. It's very hard for me. I go blank and silent because if it doesn't intrigue me, I don't want to be there. I feel like it's not a waste of time, but it drains my energy. So
because we want to be in the nitty gritty, we want to be inside already, and have that connection deep within the both parties.
Right.
We can have those small conversations.
Can you repeat that, please?
I said we want to be down in the nitty gritty with each other and have that connection already in place so that we can resonate with each other before we can have those small conversations.
I see. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. It helps incorporate a new aspect into the nitty gritty, as you call that aspect of me. And you know what's funny? My brother said something not too far off. And what a mind. Okay. Okay. So do you consider yourself good in small talk?
I don't. I'm like you. I get nervous. There's a lot of awkward silences. I'm not too. Um, I don't have a problem with awkward silences, but I think others do. So,
Oh yeah,
and,
they definitely do.
yeah.
I stay
Um,
silent anyway. Practice that. Stay silent anyway. Stay silent
um,
anyway. Or even speak it out loud because then you
is
reclaim the power. But the power is good because how many people in silence? Because what happens is silence happens and it's like, hey, I'll say, if you have nothing to say or you don't want to say anything, I just want to let you know I'm cool with silence. We could just chill in silence. And
yeah,
immediately the energy shifts in the room. So if you
right,
would like to use that, and but keep going, please keep
right.
going.
Because in my profession, um, I have to be out at parties and meeting people and having conversation I don't necessarily want to be in, but in order to build those networks and to keep those relationships going, I
Yeah.
have to do it.
Right. Like I worked for a magazine, so I understand. You
Uh-huh.
have to be interactive with. It's all about the networking in those industries, and like
Right.
you said, photography,
Acting.
acting. Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you find that
But put the camera and give me a character to play, and I'm all for it. I'm all into it. You know.
because you can lose yourself in it, right? And it's all you. It's you and you.
Right.
That's cool. That's awesome. Do you dance at all? Like, do you freestyle dance, like interpretive dance, or like express your inner emotions in any way outside of acting?
I don't. Um, my my real dad was a ballroom and dance instructor.
Wow.
Um, and he taught my mom. I never really learned from her
Okay.
anything, and so I'm sure I have it in me somewhere,
It's gotta be.
but I've never developed it.
I feel like there it is. I feel like there's a dancer in you. Like I can feel it.
Right.
Maybe like in your room when no one's watching, just put on any music that, and then just like have your body like flow to like even if no matter how strange it look, the stranger the better, and just
Right.
like feel it. I feel like you have a deep connection to music and expression in that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It it's funny because I always feel like I'm 80s with the way I dance.
80s? Maybe
Yeah.
you're reincarnated from the 80s.
Well, I'm from the 80s.
Oh, you're born in the 80s? I have not spoken to one person that's lived in the 80s and did not say that was the best era ever.
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
born late 80s though? Like my sister was born in 88.
82.
80. Oh, okay. 82. So you were still young and experiencing it. That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Especially the music.
The music had so much love in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you listen to freestyle 80s? Like, Dream Boy, come back to me. And like Spring Love by
Uh-huh.
Stevie V. Oh, you're my diamond girl. I think my parents, they showed me that music and I was like, wow, there's so much love in it. And it was boppy. You can move to it and feel the love. It was a great
Right.
combo. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Um, so I want to record a kind of an introduction real quick, and then I'll edit it together and all that kind of stuff. Um, and a question for you: do you want to be known as Kass, Cassie, Cassandra?
Um, It's whatever people want, but Cassandra is cool. Kass is cool. Kass is what most people call me, Kass.
Okay.
But
Okay.
whatever your heart feels.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Hi, and welcome to the podcast. We're okay. Let me try that again.
From the top.
From the top. Back to one.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast. Here I'm talking with Kass, who
Hi everyone.
For people on TikTok. And Kass, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, the hardest question of all, and tell a little bit about your gifts.
Okay, so I, in 2012, just bullet points, watched a documentary on capitalism. I was frustrated, and that started my awakening I realized our government wasn't telling us the truth. That put me down a rabbit hole, conspiracy theories, trying to find out the truth. Um, I dropped out of college because I felt like there was something off in that nature. I wanted to know the truth for myself. That everything about me is based in wanting to know the truth. And so I realized everyone around me not scared of death. And I was like, I mean, scared of death, but not trying to see what happened after. So I was like, I'll do it. And 2012 meditation was so weird. So this was a very lonely road, but it had to be. I left my body, began to astral project. If you don't know what that is, you just leave your body. You still have your consciousness with you, but you can look at yourself sleeping and you understand that there is something outside of all this physicality. And that opens your mind to, okay, so then what else is out there? Started doing that, which led me to years later feeling like I knew things, but not knowing how I knew them. Also, a major version is a major point in this journey is God lifting the veil on everyone in my life and everyone, how they lied, the mental games played, the betrayal, and it hurt really badly because it was everyone, but God was there at the end, or whatever you want to call God as you're watching this, the universe, the light, whatever is there. It comforted me, and it was my initiation to getting these gifts. And when Michael says gifts, what they are, I don't really like labels, but like psychic medium, what you would consider with that is what I embody. And yes, and I'm 31 years old, and I'm an Aquarius, and I live in New York. And I met Michael on TikTok, and instant connection with the mind. But that's
correct. That kind of plays into the idea that I've been playing with, and tell me if you notice the same thing. People like us tend to be people who have had a lot of pain in their life.
Yes.
A lot of struggle, a lot of abuse.
Yes.
And would you agree with that?
Yes. Yes. I absolutely agree, and I feel like it's necessary for, let's call ourselves the way showers, the light workers, the ones that know better so they do better without judging those who don't know. If we don't go through a certain amount of pain, we can't have that medicine to heal others. Like if when your collective is gathered around you and you share your story and someone says, well, how do you know? Or someone's so at their end of their wits and they're like, well, why would I listen to you? Like, I don't trust anything or anyone anymore. I'm low and I can't. And just your story alone from a pain you went through maybe 7 years ago, anytime that resonates miraculously with that person's heart who's ready to give up, and just by you sharing the story and how you got through the pain, you wouldn't have been able to reach him or her in the way that you will if you hadn't had gone through that. Because it's almost like, here, let me offer you this gem, this beauty, this gold here. I did it for you. I'm here for you. And so it makes even going through the dark moments a little easier, because when you know that you're doing it and you're going to come out this version of you that is going to blow other people away with your love and with your knowledge and wisdom. You carry a very potent medicine within you with all the pain. Had we not, we'd be a little bit more shallow, not in a bad way, but the words that we would speak to others and help them, it would only come from the depth of however deep in the pain we went. We can only pull from such a deep well. We have very deep wells to pull from. So it's like, what is your issue? What are you struggling with right now? Oh, interesting. I have a huge arsenal because I went through so much pain. One sec. Let me find that gem for you that I found, so you don't have to. I'd say that.
Right. And I think that's what gravitated me to you in watching you read, because there's a lot of other, there's really good readers out there.
Absolutely.
And some of them kind of have an abrasiveness that I don't necessarily resonate well with.
Agreed.
They'll say, well, no, you don't need to be doing that. Why are you doing that? And it's like, okay, cool, and I get your point. Ease up a bit,
Right. No, that's exactly why it's hard for me to watch other tarot readers, especially on TikTok, because it's always drama based, or it's always
Mm-hmm.
someone having a strong opinion, like, which is healing in its own way. At first, it made me angry because I'm like, I can tell that you're not reading the energy of the cards. What you're doing is you're creating a story. It applies to you, and you went through a heartbreak with someone, and now this girl is telling you her story, and now you're saying don't go back. Why would you do that? Because you're using your own emotion. So when it's not coming from pure light, it's going to distort the message, and then these people take it with them, and in bed they're like, yeah, forget him. Meanwhile, this could be the kindest guy trying his hardest, you know. So that's where it
Right.
becomes a little dangerous. But yeah.
I think now that you say that when you're reading and tapping into this person's energy,
Okay.
I believe that you are literally tapping into the multiverse. If you make this decision in this universe, you make this other decision in another universe, and that's what you're tapping into, and you're seeing all these
Bubbles.
other possibilities.
They show up as bubbles in my mind.
Yeah.
You're describing it perfectly. They show up as bubbles. And that's why it's hard to do some of the readings, because when you ask a question, like, I don't know if you, a lot of the questions are, well, is this my person? Is this my soulmate? Is this, will we end up together? Will he contact me? And it's like, well, the bubbles show up. And then it's like, yes and no.
Exactly.
Like, yes and no. You know what I mean?
Just thinking yes and no.
Really?
Yes.
Because it really, that's what it is. But I realized at a certain point, maybe that question is not necessarily what wants to be answered. They just want comfort and validation, right, or clarification that their heart can maybe feel some ease for the moment. And so there are times where I will entertain and give my all to those questions, but it will not necessarily be related to the question they ask. And at times they do leave angry. Like when they say, okay, just the okay, and then leave. I'm like, all right, so that'll settle in like a week or two, and it'll be all right.
Because I feel like you give people what they need as opposed to necessarily what they want.
Absolutely. 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 And that's what's important, because if I controlled the message, I would have my own opinion in it. And then I would too be like the other readers, like, well, no, I would not do this. You know what I mean? But it's not what I would do. It has to, we have to, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. It's a ground moment, because
it's a what? You cut out. Can you start from the beginning?
It's a grounding in the moment.
Okay, yes.
And when you're in the moment, your future doesn't exist.
Right.
Your past doesn't exist. You're just here. This is all you got.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you're asking a question and you're trying to get a specific answer out of somebody, you can't do that because you're here and you're not wanting to be here. Right?
Oh, yes.
And it's people like you that can kind of nudge you back and say, listen, I get what you're trying to get at, but here's the thing.
I say here's the thing a lot too. So that's funny. Wow. I admire the mind that not only hears me or sees me or is there to have questions answered, or but it seems that you sit there and you kind of, as an Aquarian, will just analyze me, probably my moves, my motions, the tone of my voice, where my eyes go. Like, is she being authentic in what she's saying? And you're very observant or observant. Is that the word? Okay, yeah. Observant. But the things that you observe are not only of the physical nature; they also seep into the intuition part, where you can see these things that others are not. So,
right, and I'll give you an example of that.
Please.
Today I was writing down these top points.
Okay.
And, I found myself I stopped, I closed the book, and I went over to TikTok because I felt your dad before I knew that he was on your live talking
Wow.
happening, and I was drawn to it.
That's
Right?
amazing.
Which, by the way, Kass, dad.
What?
I love your dad.
I love him too.
He's got such an amazing wisdom about him, and
Yes.
he the energy that he brings to it is so engaging, right? And he's like you; he's not reading the comments. He's just like, okay,
no, yeah,
us,
right,
you know?
right.
So,
thank you for acknowledging and speaking that.
for you to grow up with him,
What'd you say?
what was it like for you to grow up with him?
Me and my dad, since January 2021, we've been getting along for over a year. Me and my dad used to go head to head. We would fight each other. We were very stubborn, and also he hadn't spiritually awakened yet, while I did. And so, what I was interested in talking about or going through, he was not yet supposed to understand it. He even said on the live too, like he used to mock me for wanting land and like having animals and being very environmental or even loving Jesus or loving God. It was he understands dark energy so deeply and he found his way, he crawled his way, he fought his way to the light to be. That's why his wisdom is so immense. But I spent 2 years straight. My mission was, I'm going to bring you to the light, because I don't know what and hopefully he'll get into it one day. The darkness that he was involved in was serious enough to put some maybe spiritual or energetic bonds on your, what people would call, soul.
Okay.
And so as he awakened, he's at a peak right now where we are best friends. I love spending time with him. Growing up with him, so funny, always cracking jokes. He always lightened things up, but he did have those things that were attached to him, and they would manifest themselves in anger and ego, to the point of narcissism. And over time, in a quick time, I would say, he is catching these triggers and then eliminating them at the source. And so, but growing up with him was it was great. It was beautiful. He's my dad, and I love him. We all have our things.
Right. Speaking of going through something like that for him, recently you had someone, let's say, working against you.
Okay.
For some reason.
Right.
Can you talk to a little bit about that? What that was like you?
Yes, I felt very tired. Nothing crazy, because any illness or whatever I get, I'm just like, I can handle this spiritually. But I got sick, I started throwing up, and I wasn't nauseous. Like, I was nauseous, but I wasn't, you know, you can feel when you have a virus, or like it's coming, you're like, oh, I'm getting sick, I could feel it. It was not there. My stomach was killing me for a week. I was cutting every finger on my hand. This one I cut twice. I was stubbing it. It was, those sound like small things, but when it happens maybe 20, 30 times in one day, I'm like, interesting. And I kept feeling prickly needles in my, like, on my legs. And then I got a download of someone just moving energies, like, behind the scenes. And I'm like, let me look into this, because I've never Googled it. But then that night I Googled, what does black magic feel like? Not that I can really trust the internet. But it listed a lot of the things. And then what sold the deal was there was a dark energy following me around all night. Then when I went to bed, I had a nightmare, and I exorcised a demon, or whatever you want to call it. It looked like a demon, but the Hollywood would portray as what it looked like. And I grabbed its face, and I prayed into his eyes, went into the tunnel vision, and I'm like, that was the thing that was sent to me. And then I got angry because I also felt too that it was going outwards to me. The only one it didn't affect was my dad, which is interesting, which I'm still chewing on, because he was in that energy. I wonder if he has this force field around that doesn't let like little baby black magic get to him.
Right.
Because then my mom got sick, my brother, something happened with my brother, and then my two puppies got diarrhea. And I was like, okay, all right. As soon as that dream happened, though, it stopped. And so I don't want to say for a fact that it was. I'm just saying that the evidence is extremely strong for it. The nightmare, the astral plane I was sent to, it sold the deal.
Uh-huh.
And I asked my dad if it is true, if does black magic truly work, or is that something that is of lore nature, like. And he said yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you suppose would be the reasons for somebody to do that to someone?
Well, what I see, like when I scroll through TikTok, it's love spells. Wait, do you mean the black, like the one that I want to hurt someone? I want to inconvenience them.
Yeah. What would drive somebody that way?
So, if someone is in a state of desperation, let's say someone is breaking up with someone and they're in a state of desperation to have their person, but their person is walking away, they'll try to put a love spell on them, and then they'll put a hex or whatever that it's called on the person, that just out of pure anger and jealousy of I just hate you and I want you to feel the pain, but I want my hands to be clean, so you'll never know that it's me. Which I still don't know the exact person. I just have an idea, but I'm not using that. I'm just allowing myself to not know because I can't.
Right. And that's probably a wisdom that you have that serves you very well, because the I feel like the deeper you dive into something like that, the more angry you'll get, the more you'll lose yourself in their wake.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And I have to commend you on how you handled it, because a lot of people, like your dad was saying, will fly off the handle, right? And just go into a rage and rant and rave and all that sort of thing. But you decided to educate with love.
That just almost brought tears to my eyes. Thank you.
And that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and that's not easy.
Thank you, Michael.
And so I commend you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It is so nice to hear those words because I don't do it to hear them. I don't do any of this. It's just because it just pours out of me. And my whole life, a part of me getting this gift was me being ignored or me being made fun of for the things that are now loved about me. The things that are appreciated about me now were ostracized, like just torn apart by everyone. Like nobody had faith in me. And so I've never heard these words that I hear on the live, and the words you're speaking to me right now, I've never heard before in my life. And no one has complimented me. It's deeper than a compliment. Compliment seems a little too for what it feels like to me. It feels like acknowledgement, validation, comfort. Like what I said, like sometimes what people on TikTok just need, it's not the question. Like they want to feel this, what you are having me feel right now, which is just a deep sense of gratitude and joy, of faith in humanity, and also deep gratitude in meeting someone who's also openly expressive with that. You speaking that alone has altered my vibration and thus the cells in my body, and I cannot thank you. And words really don't do anything.
That you and I are put on this earth to do just that.
Sure are. We sure are.
Beautiful thing. It seems like there's people who didn't appreciate you for these saying these things and for having these ideas and seeing things that aren't there or whatever. You found it seems like you're starting to find people that you do resonate with, that you do, that do resonate with you. What's that journey been like?
It just started with you, TikTok Live. Like middle of December, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna make a commitment to myself. I'm gonna go live every day from the middle of December to the end of December, and now we're in almost May.
Right.
And so it started around the very beginning of this year, where I was like, I don't think I'm alone anymore. I don't think I'm the only person, at least, that exists that comes from purity, that actually wants good for other people, that doesn't judge other people. Just see, no, we didn't choose our bodies. We didn't choose our certain genetic predispositions or the way that we act. If we like tomatoes, if we like cilantro, if we like, there's just, who cares? Like, this is a whole story, a whole human, beautiful soul. And people were so concerned about looking good on the outside. When I would say something strange and I'd get to look with two friends, like, it made me uncomfortable and it made me feel like I wasn't welcome there. And it kept happening. So I just felt like this world was not a welcoming place for me. And I remember posting years ago, and with AI and everything, that post could be found. I was like, on Instagram, in all caps, Soul Tribe, I am calling you out right now. I'm sending you a smoke signal through this post. You see me out here alone, trying and dying out here. Help me. I fucking need you. Help. I need somebody. But literally, not just anybody.
You know, the sign saying, help.
Putting the rocks in the sand on this lonely island and just like, is anyone? And then I meet you, and then I meet Angel, and then I meet everyone that comes on the live, and it's so beautiful because my goal is to start a community. But there's more to be explored with that. But like a community, well, actually, let me ask your opinion on this.
Okay.
So, you know, is it sociology where humans, we always tend, no matter what happens, we tend to form groups, like little, there's only so much that a group can take before it starts to break off into smaller sections, right?
Yeah.
So, to create a community, do you think it's possible to create a community as marker, sorry, like let's say you speak, like we're putting ourselves out there right now, right? And let's say more people want to join this energy, and I hope you guys do, because it's pure and it's love and you can feel safe around me, Michael, and anyone who chooses to be around it, because it goes by frequency. People that are not pure of heart, you will feel, and if they're trying to infiltrate, will just try to you know, like the Satanists then interacting through that transmutation process, where you may have come at us because we are, in your eyes, easy targets. Meanwhile, what we have is the very thing you seek. That's why you're coming to us. We can't see you coming to us with hate or coming to us putting us down about what we speak about or how we look, because you're still drawn to us. You just don't know why. And we are the wise ones. We have to be the ones to look above it all and say, okay, I look past your hate. I look past your intention right now, and then move from there. I forgot the question because I went off on that tangent, but do you remember?
Well, I will say that I'm myself am personally struggling with having that wise mind,
Okay.
And educating with love and things like that. And I'm working through that in therapy and things like that. But it's such a struggle because there was a time a couple of years ago where I felt like the universe stopped trying to test me and started trying to destroy me.
Yes.
And it was just, you know, thing after thing after thing that was just pushing me so far down, and it got too much. I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and to look at someone like, for example, my abuser,
Okay.
know if you know this, but I think we had talked about it before, but um, my I'm the primary caretaker for my parents. They're both elderly and are needing 24-hour care.
Okay.
My step is a narcissist, and no matter what I do, no matter what I say, how I do it, what I don't do,
Not good enough.
always a problem. And he gets the family to um, to believe him, and then they're the ones that are like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why did you do this way? Why didn't you listen here? Blah blah blah. You know, so I'm really having a hard time taking this type of abuse and educating with love.
Understood.
And you do the same to do that is really kind of an inspiration to me because I can see that it can be done.
Wow. It can.
I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It can, Michael. And you have the heart for it. Your heart's just been through, like, you know, I'd say way more than the average person, I'd say. Not dismissing anyone's pain, but it feels like your level of resilience is and stamina to keep going is out of this world. It's otherworldly, and you as well don't wear your pain on your face. You don't wear it on the outside, and that's how you know you're loved, because you don't want to turn bitter towards the world, because you know what it feels like to have nobody on your side and to truly be alone and to truly have to work it out on your own. And yet here you are still coming on a random person's live, for example. There's just one act of love that you do, typing words of encouragement that keep me going and that I remember forever, that brings tears to my eyes because they're so beautiful and filled with love. This is the medicine you hold. You think I'm a healer, that I'm an inspiration? Look at what you're doing right now. Claim that right now. You are an inspiration. You spoke one sentence and I'm in tears for this feeling of an exhale that just came into my heart. Number one, it solidified even more that I'm on the right path, and that feels so good to be on mission. And two, that it's acknowledged. The acknowledgement in and of itself is so beautiful, and it touches upon a part of me that has nothing to do with my physicality, but in how I choose to express myself. And you also touched on a similar experience that we share, yet we wake up and we choose love every day, and we're so different and we're so special. And so yes, this pain, it does turn into this glory and joy, because you are going to have your collective, and you're gonna see when this happens, but now it's flipped where you're like, Michael, I need your help, would you please, can I schedule an appointment with you? When you see their eyes and light up, when you share that joy, I promise you, that pain that you feel that's hard to turn that into love, it's gonna come easy. It's gonna flow out of you like a river from your heart, because you're gonna be like, oh, actually I believe that it was worth it now, because their life has just changed because of the words that I spoke. And so thank you for, number one, saying that, and for number two, being you and existing and setting this up and keeping tabs on it too. Like, hey, would you like an hour? And also being kind about it too, not to rush you. You're a very gentle soul, gentle spirit. And it's like, if let's say we were timeless, and I felt your soul, I would just want to keep you in like a little bubble and like just not have anything hurt you because of the heart that you have. But I understand that you had to, because your mission here, you know, where it's like, all right, life's gonna be painful, Michael, but trust me, it'll all make sense. It'll come full circle in the end, and then you will be one day grateful for it. When we're finally grateful for it, that's when it'll transmute that into love. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. Thank you.
But what's beautiful about that too is that I have you in that bubble as well, and
That's beautiful.
that when kind of the fourth dimension becomes in, because um, we both have in our hands each other's bubbles,
Yeah.
and those intersections between where my bubble and yours starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think about.
It is. It is. It is. And the more bubbles merge, the more energy output it puts out into the universe. As with anything, with mass times, like, what is it? Force equals mass times acceleration. So, like, the more mass, which is two power energy human soul beings, right? And you know how our heart is 6 feet electromagnetic field, 6 feet outwards, 360. So, and time and space only exist in this dimension, and since we are speaking of fourth and fifth dimensional topics and rooting it into this dimension to show the others, the more our bubbles merge, it's going to attract more and more bubbles, and then thus the collective forms, and then we become this light that can't be stopped. Like, we're beginning something right now, even in this conversation, again, that is so beautiful. I can feel the light in my heart expanding just from engaging with you.
Right. Yeah, because we're it's almost like the beginning of a cellular being put together.
Yes. DNA activations.
It spells